Welcome back to the Paint Chronicles. This is Kelly, and I am here with another watercolor painting for you for beginners and also some fun facts. So, what I am doing here is I have this. I've also sped this up a little bit because this video was actually 30 minutes long, and this is the first time I've had to speed a video up. So, that was a learning experience. What I'm doing is I'm using a template or a Stemplate template, and I'm using it to place on Academy 100% cotton watercolor paper. And I'm getting a green gold mixed with an emerald gold and going around in circles, but I'm not making them perfect circles. I'm setting them off slightly a little bit. So it gives the illusion that there's not just one ring, but a few rings. One thing I want to mention is this heat gun that I'm using, that is the blue and gray. It's by Chandler. It's called a mini heat gun. And I really did a lot of research before I got a heat gun. I have had a house fire before, so I'm a little nervous about hot things and hair dryers and leaving things plugged in. But I did a lot of reviews on this product about how safe it was and how dependable it was. It is a independent brand that is made in the United States, and it has worked out fabulously for me. I do recommend unplugging it when you are done using it. But what I am doing is I'm speeding up the process with the heat gun so I can move faster. Because sometimes when you're painting something, it's wet, want to paint wet, but not on wet. You want to do it on dry sometimes. So it speeds up the whole process. So I've got my 3 layers down, and now I've put the heat gun off to the side, but I will pull it out again later. And I'm making some stems here. So the design and the thought is it's a wreath, but a more simple wreath. I won't be going fully around the whole circle, but I will be doing sections. Once I get the leaves put in there and the branches and the stems, I will be painting forget-me-nots. They're a little blue flower that I think are adorable, and I will go into some information on them. Right now, I am getting a gold green and mixing it with a little bit of olive green to get a lighter color, but just a little bit of yellow to it, setting up a bunch of leaves on the stems. I am using a it's testing me. Why do I want to say Nikon? It's Nikon Pro detail brushes. I got the pastel ones just because I thought they were cute, but they come in many different colors. And I'm using those, and I'm not filling in the leaves. I'm using a little bit of white space to reflect the stems that would be inside the leaves. And the little flower palette is a ceramic palette that is made by Meeden, Meeden. They have many different type of Meeden palettes, from large to small, to ones that just hold your paint and tubes, or ones that have mixing space. And I really like this cute little one. It makes uh, it's easy to travel with. Although, if you can tell, I'm back home in my studio, no longer on the road, which is nice because I have access to all of my art supplies here. I am also using Daniel Smith paints. Daniel Smith paints in 14 milliliter tubes. If you ever want to try Daniel Smith paints, there's a great way to try them before you invest money in them. They are a leading type of watercolor paint, but they can be a bit expensive. But they do have dot cards that you can purchase on Amazon or at your local art stores. And they have like a little sample of each color, and you can make paintings right from those samples. They run from $18 to $30 depending if you're in the US or Canada. I will put a link in the description below to where you can access those if you'd like to look them up and try them before you make that investment. The paper that I'm drawing on is Academy 100% cotton, 300 GSM. It's a cold press, which means that it is slightly granulated. Hot press watercolor paper is very smooth. Then you have cold press, which is an in between. And then you have rough press, which is, well, rough press. I prefer the cold or even rough. I recently purchased some Academy 100% cotton ref paper to come in. It just hasn't come in, and I'm excited to try it. And I'm almost done doing all of the leaves here. And once I'm done doing that, I will start to go into the forget-me-nots in the center area. But a little bit before I get there, Daniel Smith paints are actually made in the USA. They've been made in the USA since 1976. They are a fine watercolor, extra fine watercolor paint. In their extra fine watercolor paint selections, they have 266 colors. In their Primatech watercolors, they have 36. They have 49 luminescent colors and 74 extra fine Gucci. Oh, I'm horrible at saying it. I used to call it goat cheese until my daughter contacted me and said, "Mom, you're saying that terribly wrong." So it's Couache. All right, so I'm using my Chandler Heat Gun again, which speeds up the process so nicely. One little tip, don't hold it too close to the paper. Just hold it close enough where it is heating up and drying up that paint. And now I'm going to start using a ultramarine, French ultramarine paint color because forget-me-nots are mostly blue, but they can be pink, white, and yellow. And also in the center of forget-me-nots, they can be white or yellow. I will paint the inside of mine's yellow since that's what I traditionally see them here in Canada. Forget-me-nots are actually native to Europe. I would love to hear how they came to North America. The bloom time is spring and summer. You want to plant them about 10 inches apart, and the height goes to about 1 foot. A soil type is moist but well drained. Sun exposure is full with partial sun. They're also called forget-me-nots, wildland forget-me-nots, and ornamental forget-me-nots. Now, there is an official botanical name, and I'm going to slaughter this horribly, but it is called Myosostis sylvatica. Please, someone tell me how to say that correctly. It's a very adaptable and versatile plant. It is resistant to rabbits, deers, butterflies, and bees. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. It's resistant to rabbits and deers, but it attracts butterflies and bees. I'm going to have to tell my husband that. He's a beekeeper. Maybe we should plant some around the hive. But also, my father might like the fact that the rabbits and the deer don't like them because he's constantly on that battle with deer eating his flowers. In the alpine, forget-me-nots are also known as the Alaskan state flower. It got named the flower before Alaska even became a state. And some folk tales about the flower is how it truly got its name One legend says that a German knight was with a lady wandering through the riverbanks. The woman saw the pretty blue flowers, but the flow of the river had pulled them away, and they disappeared downstream. Her gallant knight dove into the river with his plate armor to save the flowers. Unfortunately, the current was too strong for him. He threw the flowers over the edge and shouted, "Forget me not," as the river swept him out to sea. There is also another folk tale that says, according to German legend, God chose the name while naming the flowers. This was the last flower to be named, and it cried out to the Lord, "Lord, forget me not." To which the Lord replied, "That shall be your name." So, a few little tidbits all about it. And it's funny, you would think I was really had a green thumb or anything, but that is much more my daughter and my mother's area of expertise. What I'm doing now is going over each leaf with a darker version of green to give it a little more depth, to get the veins inside the leaves a little more detail. And almost done there. Just a little bit more to go. And I was happy with how this came out. Funny story, I had done a practice round of this painting, and then I did a recorded painting of it, and then I didn't actually record it. I just took a picture of it. Lesson learned. So many lessons learned with every video. So this was actually my third time doing it. So I have 3 copies of this one. If anyone is interested in one copy, let me know. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please come back again and subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye.